Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Pop. And with over 25 years of trades experience, I am here to extol the wonders and enjoyment of being in the skilled trades. If you ever wondered what it was like or what to expect, how difficult it is to get into it, well, that's why I'm here to help you out. I can show you that it really isn't that bad to get into, and it's very rewarding. So, as I so often do, I start out with some news, and that way you can see how well things are going in industry. If you see that a lot of businesses are expanding and they need people, then you know things are going well. If you see that a lot of the businesses are closing down, then you know things are not going very well at all. All right. I will start out with going to Plant Magazine. And they have quite a bit of news here. I'm going to check out this one. Spin Master sees sales earnings decline in second quarter amid weaker order volume. Spin Master, I think that's the toy company, but I'm not sure. It could be something else, but we'll see. Spin Master Corp says it's earned $28 million in the second quarter, down from $88 a year earlier. The Toronto-based toy and entertainment company says revenue was $420 million, down from $506 million during the same quarter last year. Earnings per diluted share were 26 cents, down from 83 cents. Toy revenue for the company was $346 million, down from $437 million last year. Sales for toy products declined due to lower order volume, as Spin Master says customers reduced retail inventory levels. Chief Financial Officer Mark Siegel said while the company's results were challenged compared to with last year, it's maintaining its 2023 outlook. Yeah, short and sweet article about those guys. Hopefully they are developing some good toys. This one caught my eye. Hyundai and Kia recalled nearly 92,000 vehicles and tell owners to park them outside due to fire risk. I don't know how many of you drive a Kia or a Hyundai. I happen to drive a Kia, and I'm a little concerned. So let's go over this and see if it's anything to worry about. Hyundai and Kia are telling the owners of nearly 92,000 vehicles in the U.S. to park them outside because an electronic controller in an oil pump can overheat and cause fires. The affiliated Korean automakers are recalling the vehicles and also are telling owners to park them away from structures until repairs are made. The recalls cover certain 2023 and 2024 Hyundai Palisades, as well as some 2023 Tucson, Sonata, Elantra, and Kona vehicles. Affected Kias include the 2023 Soul and Sportage, as well as some 2023 and 2024 Seltos vehicles. The companies say in documents posted Thursday by U.S. safety regulators that a capacitor on a circuit board in the oil pump assembly for the transmission may have been damaged by the supplier during manufacturing. This can cause a short circuit and increase the risk of fire. Kia says it has 6 reports of melting components, but no fires or injuries. Hyundai says it has confirmed 4 thermal incidents and no injuries. Dealers will inspect and replace the oil pump controller if necessary. Hyundai owners will be notified by letter on September 25th. Kia will notify owners starting September 28th. Alright, well, it doesn't look like it's my car. Mine's a 2015. So it should be okay. It's too bad all the people that bought the 2023s and 2024s are have to deal with this. But it's up to the auto manufacturer to keep their suppliers toes to the fire and make sure they don't give them faulty things to use. Strathroy lands $45 million plant that will make insulated metal panels. There you go. They're building a factory here. Quebec company that manufactures insulated metal panels is expanding to Ontario with a $45 million plant west of London. Norbeck, which also manufactures walk-in coolers and freezers, is building a 14,492 square meter or 156,000 square foot plant on 9 hectares of industrial land in Strathroy. Along with 2 plants in Quebec, the facility at 990 Wright Street will help Norbeck ramp up production of insulated metal panels to meet growing demand, said Jan Lembrix, president of Norbeck. It's a manufacturing plant that is highly automated, state-of-the-art facility to increase our capacity of that product and further develop the markets in Ontario and the United States, he said. Insulated metal panels are used as cladding for walls and roofs in commercial and industrial buildings. Norbeck manufactures the panels of various markets, such as refrigerated warehouses and food processing plants. These prefabricated steel insulated walls that we make are increasingly being used as the predominant way to construct industrial buildings, Lembrix said. He said the main reasons for the rise in demand are the panel's insulation values, durability, and energy efficiency. They're also faster to install, important for construction companies facing a labor shortage, Lembrix said. Remember that it says labor shortage in this article, and we're not even talking about skilled trade shortages. The demand for more energy performance in buildings, the speed of installation, and reduced labor requirements are really strong drivers behind the adoption of this product in construction. Construction of the plant at 990 Wright Street already has begun, with an official groundbreaking ceremony slated for early September. The facility will employ 70 people and expected to open in the summer of 2024. The jobs will focus on technical skills in automation and engineering, Lembrix said, adding Norbeck will hire people from the region as close by as we can. Strathroy Caradoc Mayor Colin Grantham said his municipality hopes to attract more businesses like Norbeck. It's great news, he says. Like everywhere, we need more industries like that. We need more jobs. Lembrix said his company considered several other locations for the new plant, but settled on Strathroy because of its access to the Ontario and U.S. markets. The site is located just south of Highway 402. That really doesn't mean much of anything to me unless you live in Ontario, in that area, and you know what that means. There's also a massive potential for growth in the region, he said, citing 2 new electric vehicle battery plants coming to St. Thomas and Windsor. We feel very confident about the economic development in southwestern Ontario, Lembrix said. Okay, another facility for building insulated metal panels. EV rebates suggest uptake in battery-powered cars soaring in spring. Magna reports $339 million in net income in second quarter as sales hit $11 billion. Oof. These guys are just raking it in hand over fist, but I think they're like one of the biggest auto parts makers. Ontic appoints new VP of Revenue Management. BlackBerry software to be used by International Electric Vehicle Consortium. That's interesting. BlackBerry. Let's see what that's all about. BlackBerry Limited says some of its software and services have been chosen for use in a Foxconn-backed electric vehicle consortium. Foxconn is the companies that make the iPhone and such in China. The Waterloo, Ontario-based software company says the Mobility and Harmony Consortium will use its QNX and Ivy offerings to build the platform. QNX is a cloud and artificial intelligence-based software foundation, while Ivy is an in-vehicle software platform helping automakers monetize data. That doesn't sound very good at all. That sounds pretty sinister, actually. In-vehicle software platform helping automakers monetize data is what it says. Why do automakers have to monetize your data? What's going on here? Software giant Microsoft, South Korean battery maker LG Energy Solution, and luxury electric vehicle manufacturer Karma Automotive are among the thousands of consortium members. The consortium is working on building a single-row, 3-seat vehicle geared towards Asian consumers that it calls Project X. The vehicle is due to launch in Japan later this year and will be followed by a 6-seat and 9-seat vehicles. So if they say by a single-row 3-seat vehicle, they're going to bring back the bench seat? We're going to make that popular again? That'd be all right. All right. Signs of economic softening grow as job creation lags population growth. Unemployment rate ticks up to 5.5% in July as job creation lags population growth. So that's the same. That's two articles saying the same thing. Unemployment rate goes up, and this one says economic softening as job creation lags population growth. Well, maybe you're growing your population too fast. First you complain there's not enough people to fill jobs. Now you're saying they're not creating enough jobs to sustain the population. Sometimes I wonder if the government has any brains at all. Okay, so let's have a look here. Canada's unemployment rate rose again last month as the economy struggles to create enough jobs to match the pace of population growth. Statistics Canada reported Friday employment was little changed in July, following by 6,400 jobs. Meanwhile, the unemployment rate ticked up to 5.5%, marking the third consecutive month that the unemployment rate has risen. May served as a turning point in the labor market as the unemployment rate rose for the first time in 9 months. Prior to that, the unemployment rate was hovering at 5%, just above the all-time low of 4.9% reached last summer. As Canada's population continues to grow rapidly, rising unemployment signals the economy isn't creating enough jobs to absorb a larger workforce. We've seen a consistent increase in the number of people without a job in Canada, but people that are still in the labor force, said James Orlando, TD's Director of Economics. Job vacancies have also declined in the country, offering another sign that the labor market is loosening. Orlando says the high population growth is helping the economy stay afloat as newcomers add to demand, so instead of high interest rates leading to outright job losses, Orlando says unemployment rate is rising. People come to Canada even if they don't get a job right away. They're consumers, right? They're looking for the housing. How? How do they buy their food and housing if they don't have jobs, you idiot? They're buying stuff with the economy, and that is the demand shock. This guy's an idiot. It's putting a floor under the economy at a time when most people would have thought it would be contracting. Federal agencies said job losses last month were led by the construction industry, while the greatest job gains were made by the healthcare and social assistance. High interest rates are expected to push unemployment even higher as borrowing costs rise for both businesses and consumers. Bank of Canada has raised its key interest rate to 5%, the highest it's been since 2001. The central bank is hoping its aggressive rate hikes slow the economy down enough to bring inflation to its 2% target. It cited concern about the pace of wage growth as well, which rebounded in July, rising 5% year over year. Inflation in June fell to 2.8% within the Bank of Canada's target range of 1 to 3%. But core measures of inflation, which strip out volatility, show prices are still rising quickly. A new forecast from the central bank says it expects inflation to get back to 2% by mid-2025. Yeah, they're also, these guys at the Bank of Canada are also idiots because they don't take into account things that rise more with inflation, and if it does, they just pull it out of their statistics. They're like, okay, well, we're not going to use this metric for our statistics. So let's say the gas prices. Okay, well, that doesn't match with what they're trying to sell us, so they'll just take it out of their measurements and be like, no, we're not measuring that. So these guys, it's all about fooling people all the time. Don't trust the banks. Don't trust the government. And that's it for the news. Covered all the things that I thought were interesting. And I'm just going to move along to this article here. Looks like it's by Fox Business. And it says, a job expert pushes back on cultural stigma having a disturbing impact on skilled work, generational handoff. Blue-collar jobs see double-digit demand as industries try to integrate U.S. supply chain. And a cultural stigma around traditional blue-collar jobs runs alive and well and could potentially hurt the next workforce generation and America's infrastructure. You're not just a widget manufacturer. You're not just an excavation company. You are building America. You are building a future for your family. You're learning the work ethic that leads to good souls for your kids. There's more to it than just work, Red Balloon CEO Andrew Crapuchet told Fox News Digital. From electricians and plumbers to home builders and stonemasons, the U.S. labor market is seemingly desperate to fill skilled labor positions. Since the start of this year, there have been more than 770,000 skilled job postings from nearly 95,000 different employers across the country, according to data from People Ready Skilled Trades. Data points from that same study indicate that demand for carpenters has gone up 23% from March to May, while stonemasons are up 45% and construction laborers are experiencing an 18% demand surge in the same time period. The sudden demand boom likely comes from efforts to vertically integrate America's supply chains after pandemic and geopolitical disruptions, Crapuchet argued, but a crucial part of the puzzle is currently missing. Unfortunately, we have this cultural issue where a lot of baby boomers, which are one of the wealthiest generations ever, they've passed down to the next generation. They said, I worked really hard in a factory, I worked really hard early on, and then I was able to build a career. And I don't want that for my kids or my grandkids, the CEO explained. And so there is this cultural stigma associated with those blue-collar, mixed-collar jobs, he added. There are lots of opportunities to work hard, not to build $200,000 of school debt and still be able to support a family and live a really good life, but there's a stigma associated with this. The labor marketplace expert also pointed out that younger workers are part of a social media generation that have been swayed towards white-collar jobs. White-collar jobs are doing nothing, trying to be YouTube famous or TikTok famous. That's what they're looking at. They don't want to get in there and learn anything or do anything physically. There's just people that don't want to go into this space. They don't want to be doing construction. They don't want to be doing long hours out in the sun or out in the cold winter, Crapuchet said. But we need people who are going to build houses. I'm less concerned about the frequent housing booms and busts that are associated because we don't have enough people to get the job done. Younger generations are not used to the rigor associated with construction, manufacturing, oil drilling, or other activities, the CEO expanded. And so we have a generation that has not had to work hard and has not experienced the blisters and the calluses that come along with chopping wood all day, Crapuchet said. And so they don't want to go into this type of work, but it's actually good for your soul. While he doesn't believe the skilled labor shortage could push the housing market to fall off a cliff, he did say it adds a barrier to affordable housing. You're just going to have demand for houses, and you're going to have prices going up, he said. People need to focus on getting those jobs filled, getting the training so that we have better housing at an affordable price. Another challenge skilled labor employers face includes the young workforce's unreliability. In 2000, the labor participation rate for 16 to 19-year-olds stood around 50%. As of last month, the number is in the mid-30 percentile, which Crapuchet calls very disturbing. One employer told me when they're hiring off Indeed or one of the mega job boards, they have between 10% and 30% of the people even show up for the interview, let alone the job, Crapuchet noted. And so that's what employers are focused on and desperate for today. It's just people who show up and work hard, have a good work ethic. Despite the skilled labor market being in potential rough waters ahead, Red Balloon CEO encouraged younger workers to explore junior or community college programs for mixed-collar jobs, where hands-on applications are combined with modern computing and technology. We have a lot of baby boomers who are exiting the market, who have a lot of skills and knowledge and abilities that simply aren't going to be replaced by the next generation. If we don't make some changes soon, Crapuchet said. I'd also like to add that, baby boomers are retired, but there's also Gen X. The ones that came after the baby boomers was Gen X, my generation, and we are filling those jobs. We are filling in there. I think we need to look at millennials and Gen Z, Zoomers. Zoomers need to be interested in skilled trades. Otherwise, nothing's going to get better. Mom and pop smaller trade business owners should be painting a picture for the next generation about skilled labor being meaningful, exciting, good work, this job expert advised. Just helping people realize that it's bigger than them. It's bigger than just the opportunity to earn a paycheck, but to focus on building the future for the next generation and for their generation. I think if people could do that, if you could paint a bigger picture bigger than just earning a paycheck, then I think the next generation is going to get into that, he said. Well, you have to make it enticing for them. You also have to make it so that they know it exists. Make sure. High schools, make sure they introduce it right away. That you being in the trades is a viable option. You don't have to go to university. You don't have to go to, your college. You can go to a vocational school, trade school, and you can do just as well. You won't have as much debt load as someone that goes to university. You'll make good money, and you will learn a lifelong skill, which is very important. So I would say start early with making them aware of the skilled trades. You need that. So yes, make sure they learn right away about the skilled trades very early on. And there should be, just playing the percentages of students, there should be some that are just built for that, ready to go into it. Let's move along now to Indeed. And I just typed in the name of a trade that I'm in, and had a look, and just to see what's out there right now. And I just did it in the Seattle, Washington area, because, that's a fairly large city on the West Coast here, and pretty average. To see what's available. Okay, so here's one job, 32 to 38 an hour. You do not miss using Indeed. Godzillionaire, welcome, good to see you. 32 to 38 an hour, Monday to Friday, that sounds all right. Steeler Incorporated, I don't know what that is, but Transco Northwest in Kent, Washington, $20 to $35 an hour. I guess it depends on the cost of living as well. Oh, Lafarge Canada in Seattle, 32 to 42 an hour. Wow, that's really good. It says they're urgently hiring. You work at a cement plant. Recology, King County, $41.10 an hour. Preparing processing equipment. Nice. Brick Red Systems, Redmond, Washington, $26 to $30 an hour. That's not bad. You got to be careful using Indeed. With so many employers using job firms, you end up seeing the same exact posting 4 to 5. Oh, okay. I had no idea. Oh, the Port of Seattle, $46.59 an hour. Wow, that's good. Monday to Friday, full time. Oh, one at Boeing for $33 an hour. For rigging for mobile cranes and helicopters, move heavy loads. Beauty. A mechanical prototyper for Apple. Huh. B&D Industrial in Tacoma, Washington, $25 to $50 an hour. Sounds all right. Maintenance utility technician at Boeing, $18 to $40 an hour. That's quite the wide range. Should be probably based on experience, I guess. Maintenance mechanic, NSSEA, Nucor Steel, Seattle. Okay. $92,000 to $111,000 a year. Woof. That's all right. $23 to $46 an hour for Boeing in Renton. Precision assembly rework mechanic. A mechanical lead technical trainer for King County. Okay, 87 to 111,000. Machine maintenance technician, Starlink SpaceX. Look at this. You work for Elon. 25 to 33 an hour. Maintenance technician in Puyallup. 29 to 42. You thought Boeing was shutting down their Washington ops because the state made it so difficult to do anything? I don't know. I'm not very in tune with what goes on in Washington State. I haven't heard much about Boeing. What we need is somebody from Washington State to let us know. We can also check other places too. That was just one place. Seattle. What's that? Is it Boise? Boise, Idaho? Work at Way Maintenance at Lactalis, US. $23 to $40 an hour. Wastewater treatment maintenance, also at Lactalis. Nampa, Indiana, or Idaho, Nampa, Idaho. 23 to 40 an hour. Another maintenance technician. Okay, this looks like they're doubling up here. Installer, welder, fabricator at Rayco, 17 to 30 an hour. This is do you know the way? This is the way. Southern Industrial Constructors, estimated 51 to 64,000 a year. Wood grain lumber and composite, 23 to 35. MCore, 47 to 59,000 a year. Plant maintenance technician in Knife River, Southern Idaho division, 50 to 63,000. Night shift maintenance supervisor. Oof, night shift. No, thank you. Lead engineer mechanical. Remote in Boise, Idaho, 104,000 to 132,000 a year. Whoa. Okay, you're an engineer. Okay. Ready mix plant maintenance mechanic. 51 to 65,000 a year. City of Meridian, Idaho, 2330 to 25 an hour. Traveling AG millwright foreman superintendent, 80,000 to 120,000 a year. Quite the spread of jobs, of pay as well. Let's see. What's another good city to look into? Portland? Portland, Oregon? We go down the coast? How are we going to do in Portland here? You going to do okay? 25 to 30 an hour for a maintenance mechanic at Bullseye Glass Company. 35 an hour at Interfor Corporation. Poopland, Oregon? Is it really that bad? I have no idea, but I don't think I'd ever want to go there. I don't want to go there, or I don't want to go to San Francisco. Swing shift industrial maintenance technician from $26 an hour. Maintenance technician, Western Forest Products, 55 to 70 a year. Oh, multi-craft maintenance technician, electrician, Owens Corning, $41 an hour. Syringes and poop, the San Francisco treat. Yeah, it's not rice-a-roni anymore, is it? Syringes and poop. And that's what happens when you don't crack down on crime in your city and just let everyone run free. Yeah, not bad. Plant maintenance, millwright, night shift. Once again, night shift. Oof. Millwright maintenance mechanic at Madden Industrial, Tualatin, Oregon, 28 to 32. Lacamas Laboratories, $28 to $40 an hour. City of Portland, $44 an hour. That's not bad. That's in Portland. What's next? Down the coast is California. Los Angeles? Do they even need any millwrights in Los Angeles? Oh yeah. Los Angeles County Department of Human Resources. $93,000 a year. Wow. Superior Skilled Trades, Bell Gardens, California. 29 to 31 an hour. Six Flags Magic Mountain. You can work at a theme park. 31 to 33 an hour. Full time. Express Employment Professionals. Okay, that's a hiring agency. Maintenance mechanic at Menasha Packaging. $29 to $40 an hour. That's pretty good. May Rigging and Crating, La Miranda, California. $58 to $73,000 a year. Coney Bear, Fullerton, California, $28 to $30 an hour. Bagel Brands, $52 to $66,000 a year. Production line mechanic, Talent One, Linwood, California. $30 an hour. Urgently hiring, it says. 5 years experience in cosmetics, food, or pharmaceutical industry. What about where everybody's moving from California? A lot of people moving to Texas. What do we got for jobs in Texas? Specifically Dallas. I put Dallas because that's one of the common ones I know. Asphalt Emulsions, Saginaw, Texas. Texas is closed. In Mesquite, Texas, $70,000 to $85,000 a year. Nice. Plant maintenance, DFW area, millwright electrician, Martin Marietta, Dallas Fort Worth. 19 to 29 an hour. That's not great. Occidental Petroleum Corporation, 61 to 78,000. Millwright foreman lead hand, 43 to 49. There you go. Dock and door technician, no, not for me. Rotating equipment technician, $20 to $40 an hour. MEI rigging and crating. Millwright, 100% travel, Beck and Pulitzer. 10-hour shift. 100% travel. Oh, that would suck. I've done my fair share of traveling around. I don't like living out of a suitcase. An equipment manager for Canadian Solar. $99,000 to $126,000 a year. Oof. A maintenance technician for Danone North America. $33 an hour. Not too shabby there, Texas. But yes, just looking out there, I can see a lot. And that's just for my trade. Sure, if there's electricians or welders, plumbers, masons, or bricklayers, whatever you want to call them, instrumentation technicians, heavy duty mechanics. There's lots out there. Just a matter of getting into it. All right, why don't we change it up? and look at a few pictures. Got mine here. Sure, this display. Boom, there we go. So, a long time ago, I was tasked with plotting out some replacement pumps. Because when you're making compost, you have to spray water on it to keep it from catching on fire. And when you spray the water and it gets sucked down through the pipes, it gets pulled through the compost, but then it ends up where the pipes are, collection pipes, and they use the vacuum to pull it through, and it pulls the water, and it ends up in the bottom of a couple of headers, and that water has to get pumped out and away. So I was tasked with this, and as you can see here, I had to find a place to tap into, first of all, for the air to run the diaphragm pumps, because they run on air. They're pneumatic diaphragm pumps. So when you do that, you have to bend tubing and make sure it runs properly. Wherever you need it to go, you do a lot of bending. And it had to run underneath this rail of the machine. So there was a machine that goes back and forth, and what does the actual turning of the compost. And as you can see there's where the tubing runs, and it goes underneath. That was a tight fit, but we had to fit it underneath the rail of the machine. There's another shot of it there. And when it goes under the machine, it comes to a T, and then the T branches off to some pipe right here. Goes to a needle valve, so you can control the flow, the volume of the air. Because if you don't control the volume, this thing is going to run full speed, and it'll shake itself to death. So using the needle valve, you still get the same pressure, but lower volume. So, and then that goes to a rubber airline and over to the pump. This here is a picture of the machine that runs along that rail. It is very big and heavy, and it needs to run on that rail just like a train. Back and forth, back and forth. So nothing can go over top of it because it'll just end up chopping it in half. Yes, there is the connection to the main air, where we're going to draw it off from. Follow that over there. A better shot of the machine. There it is there. You run it across, run it underneath, and it ends out sticking out there. And there is the timer, because you can't trust operators to keep anything just giving a view. You're not able to hear you over the disco music I'm playing here. 3:40 a.m. All right, no problem, Kitty Bear. Thanks, buddy. The weakness has been hazed from your bones. Glory to the state. Glory to the state, Jake D. Comrade, nice to see you. As I was saying, you can't trust operators to operate a pump properly. You have to give them a timer so that they can just set it and walk away, because they won't come back and check on it. They never do. So there's where we ended up. You end up with your tubing going underneath the rail, and it's ready to be branched off from there. So once it branches off from the hard line, it goes to the hose, which then plugs in to your pneumatic diaphragm pump. And then this has your inlet. As you can see, you follow the hose over to a header, and it branches off. And you go, one goes into this header, and there's another header that's under the conveyor belt. Very difficult to get at, but we got it. And you can only draw from one at a time. So you need these ball valves here. This one's closed. This one's open. You can only draw the water out of one at a time. Otherwise, you won't have enough vacuum. And it gets pulled in here. And it gets put to the output of the pump, which goes down this hose and under the conveyor and down to the far end, where it empties out into a storm drain. There, it is a better shot there. There is the discharge of the pump, held on with a cam lock. Down, come on, down the hose, and connects right there with there's a check valve there, and it goes into that white pipe underneath the conveyor and down along to the end. So that gives a little better view of what goes on down there. So there you go. You've got your tubing underneath the rail. And comes along, goes down where it connects into a pipe, and then it goes to a T, and it branches off because we're running two pumps off of the one supply of air. And as I always told the operators, you can only run one pump at a time. Don't try to run two because it won't be able to supply enough air. There we are. There's a better shot of it there. Had to build these feet for it. These guys are secured to the floor with anchors. That way this thing would not walk away, because it would rattle back and forth. As you can see, the discharge is hooked up on the bottom. The inlet is on the bottom, the discharge is on the top, and it goes to this pipe over here. That's the start of it. As you can see, there's a solenoid which was connected to the timer. So you turn the timer, it would let the electricity go to the solenoid would lift up and let the air in, and your pump would start up. Go back and forth, pumping until the timer shut off. There's another view of the large aerating hall where all the compost would get made. There's a better shot of the two headers. So down this header, there's a pipe, a long pipe that goes down from the top here with a strainer on the end. It goes down about 10 feet. And same with this one here under the conveyor. Same thing. And that's why we'd run both lines through the headers. And there is the control for one of the other pumps. This is the needle valve controlling the volume of air. And we ran it along the wall. Keep it up and out of the way. Here's a shot down and looking down. So I'm riding this machine right now. The machine is moving back and forth, and it has two large augers. There's another shot of that. That's a little bit better. A little bit better shot of that needle valve. There's the two large augers that do the actual aerating of the compost. So all this stuff down here, this is all garbage that's been turned into compost. And it's slowly working its way along to the end, getting pulled by these large augers. A little better shot. There's the one header, and then there's the one that's over back here. But as you can see, both are connected. And then there's a line that goes, they come to a T, and that goes to the inlet of the pump. There's another shot. I turned around and got a better shot of where we had been. As you can see, there's a lot of rows of compost, and they are breaking down. So it's very hot in there. Whenever compost breaks down, it gives off a lot of heat. So it's very hot in here. There we go. There's a good video of that. A little bit of an action video. These things are working. Better shot of how big it is in there. It's very big. We've got a lot of space in there. I believe this is the same one, it's just a different aspect ratio. So yes, that is installation of diaphragm pumps. In case you ever wonder, there's a lot that goes into it. You have to plan out everything. You have to plan out where you're getting your air from, where you're going to run your discharge to, how are you going to get your stuff up to the inlet of the pump, because pumps can't pull a long distance straight up. They get it to where it gets the liquid gets so heavy it can't go up any further. So you're limited by the amount of distance you can pull. So that had a lot to do. Like, I know in here we had to put in some foot valves just to keep it so it didn't all run back down once you turn the pump off. You want to keep some liquid in here so it helps with your vacuum when you're doing the suction. You have to remember to keep everything out of the way of other equipment. If I put this out any further towards this railing, that pump would get wiped out by the machinery that rides on the rail. So there's a lot to consider, especially when you're putting in something that you've designed yourself. And you have to make sure that you try to think everything through and draw it out and just try to take everything into account. And asking people as well what they think. They can offer some insights into how you should carry out things. But most of the time, if you're the journeyman, you're usually the one doing it yourself. So and that's what management does. And you also have to protect your any kind of tubing you have laying around. This stuff it's not the toughest stuff, so you at least want to put in something to protect it for people when they're walking along or something like that and they don't crush it. So always protect your stuff. All right. Well, before we get along to anything else, maybe it's time to have a little bit of a break, a refresher. Try this song.
Oh, hey there everybody. How are you? Well, I don't always play video games, but when I do, I make sure to safely make a safety save in a safe environment. And if you don't know how to make a safety save, well then make sure you check out Pop Culture Mechanics, 9 a.m. Mountain Time and 10 a.m. Central on Saturday mornings, where you can learn how to make a safety save that you might be so excited you could dance if you wanna. So, come on and check out Pop Culture Mechanics on Saturday mornings. Going to see you there. Bye.
Finally! Yes! Whew! My God! There we go. Remember, always do a safety save. Oh, moving along here. Let's see. I've got some other ones, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Move it here. Just like to welcome everyone on Rumble and Kick, and of course on YouTube. Nice to see you all. Let's see. Some pictures. All right. This is why I want to speak to some of the quality in nowadays that they have. This is a door handle. I broke this thing, and I was just trying to open it. So it's pretty sad when you can bust off a door handle like this. That's what it's supposed to look like, right? But look how thin this is. There's like no strength to it at all. There you go. That's what it looks like beforehand. Just a regular, just like you think, a regular door handle. Nothing too crazy. But it snapped off when I went to open it. I couldn't believe it. Just the quality that things are made of. You can see this thing, this is like it's cast. All they did was pour it in a mold, pull it out, gave it a bit of a shine, and then that was it. It was just ready to break. But yeah, that's just, to me, that's unacceptable. That's garbage. Always try to get good stuff that's not gonna bust on there. Oh yeah, conveyors. So sometimes conveyors are held together with mechanical splices. And eventually, after all this abrasion, the splices get thin and they wear out and they break off. Yeah, it's a belt seam, Godzilla. Mechanical splice. And this is what happens. It just gets worn out down to nothing. And then you end up having to pull it apart like I did. And there's a mating piece that goes in here. And it's usually held on with like, what do you call it? Just wire rope. A wire cable, I guess. Yeah, you put a cable through here, and it holds them together, and it usually does a good job. Splice, baby. Yeah, and yeah, same thing. Same thing here, just worn right out. And thankfully for these ones, once you get the belt apart, you can usually drill out the old ones and put new ones in. So you don't have to replace all of these, just the ones that are broken. So that's quite fortunate we can do that. Otherwise it turns into a big hellish nightmare that takes a long time. And there's usually the machine is down or the whole plant is down waiting for you to repair the conveyor belt. So time is of the essence usually if a conveyor belt is down. Unless you have redundant systems, in which but a lot of places don't. So yeah, that is some belt splicing. Ah, yes. So I do talk abrasion a lot and how things rubbing on other things will eventually wear through. Like, you may not think about it, but rubber will rub through steel. I've seen it. You have a conveyor and it rubs against steel and it just wears the steel away. And this is the same thing for this. This is a Huck bolt and it is inside of a rotating screen, which experiences a lot of abrasion, and they just get worn out. And we'd have to check on them because if they wear out, the screens fall off. So you can replace the screens in this rotating screen, and you have to place those. And you can see here too, that's what it looked like. This is how big the holes were. And it was, yeah, it was pretty worn. I think we were just about ready to replace it with brand new. Sometimes you get so close though, you can't get a good picture. Camera doesn't want to cooperate. Forget what this was. I don't think it was a leak. Maybe it was. There's so much particulate in the air, it's hard to get a good picture. And yeah, just the sheer amount of garbage that was on the conveyors is crazy. Cleaning was not the forte for these operators, which it really should have been. It would have made the equipment last a lot longer. But I know there's a conveyor under there somewhere. These guys have to do their job and clean. Otherwise, things are not going to work well for them. So yeah, the Huck bolts. It was a pretty neat. I think it was like a hydraulic gun that would put them in there and then pull the bolt onto a ring, and it would snap it off. You had to have a hydraulic power pack to use the Huck gun. It was like a giant rivet. I guess if you could equate it to anything, it'd be like a giant rivet. You pull it, and it would crush the ring, and that would help keep the bolt tensioned on there. That's a little better picture. Really zoom in there. Camera is pretty darn good too. Yeah, you can just see the ring, the outside of the ring here. And it's getting warm. And where is it here? Oh, I thought I saw. Yeah, there we go. Once again, the abrasion wears through even steel, and you end up with a hole with material down here leaking out of it. There's always a problem. Yeah, that's good for there, good for pictures. Just want to say thanks to you guys for coming out. I'm just going to wrap her up now. I've gone for an hour. It's should be good. I want to say thanks to you guys for coming out. Godzillionaire, Kitty Bear, Jake D. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to hit that like button and spread the word, eh? Tell them about Pop Tuesday nights. He loves his trades. And there's other good channels out there too. I was just on Pacific 4-4's channel on Sunday. We did a nice chat about my channel, what's going on with it, and things I like to talk about. There's Blaine's Escape Corner, who's probably streaming right now as we speak. Ronin66 and DJ Ronnie G. Brandon the Anime Guy. I just finished watching his stream before I started mine. The Nerdporial Lifeform, Angry Canadian, and coming up, Angry Canadian and I on Saturday are going to be talking Red vs. Blue, the Halo series done by Rooster Teeth. So it should be a good time. I remember watching that show and just laughing my ass off because it was so funny. But yeah, look for that coming up Saturday, August the 12th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Angry Canadian and myself talk Red vs. Blue. There's also Woopa Troopa, he's got his own channel, and Punkwaddle. You can find him at Floral from Under a Rock. And on his own channel as well. Coming up is Saturday, the game stream. I'm getting close. I think I'm getting close to the end of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. If I am close, if I beat it, then I'm going to have to look for a new one. We'll see how it goes. Look for a brand new game to play. Let's see if that happens. I hope it does. And then Sunday. Sunday is Anime Chat, and the theme of August is World War II. If you tuned in last time, you saw that I went over a series called The Cockpit by none other than Leiji Matsumoto, the same man who did Star Blazers, also known as Space Battleship Yamato, and Galaxy Express 39. So The Cockpit, very excellent show. If you're into World War II, you like that kind of stuff, definitely tune in. This Sunday will be a different show, and we'll go over it, and we'll have a good time. I like history, and World War II, really is fascinating, especially when they talk from the other perspective, the perspective of the Japanese during that time. And then after that, once again, we're at Trades Talk Tuesday. I'll be here talking about the skilled trades, how to get into them, and if you know anyone that's in the trades and they want an interview, tell them to get a hold of me. I'm always open to having people on the show because I like to hear their stories and their journey through the trades. And that is it. That is it. I really appreciate you guys coming out. Very grateful. Until next time, everyone, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.